How do you know when it's time to see a doctor if penetration hurts? Someone wrote in and said, when my partner goes too deep, it really hurts. I feel like there's a blockage or something. I can only handle 5 to 6 inches. Is something wrong? This is Reid Mahalko from readaboutssex.com.
Cathy from the intimacydojo.com.
And there's a lot of different reasons it could hurt. I do encourage you to go see a doctor. Anytime you're concerned. I mean, sex is such a beautiful part of a relationship. Having concerns or fears about it is certainly going to get in the way.
And helpful if you see a doctor who's comfortable talking about sex.
Yeah, a sex-positive doctor.
Not all doctors are. And, traditionally speaking, most medical schools only spend a small amount of time, like a couple of hours, talking about sex in med school.
Yeah, I've educated my OB-Gyne about anatomy, and it was like, oh.
Yeah. So again, you may also just want to go and make sure that you're seeing a doctor who's totally cool with talking about the sexy stuff, or finding a sex therapist who might be able to recommend a doctor. Locally, there might be people that they know of, and the only reason I throw that in is going to talk to a doctor who's not knowledgeable or comfortable talking about sex when you're talking about worse. Penetrative, yada yada yada. They might just say all the wrong stuff, and we want to try to avoid that.
After seeing your doctor, if there's nothing physically wrong, I realized vaginismus, which is basically Charlie horses in your vagina, and there's other stresses that can cause pain in there. It might also be that you're not as fully aroused as you think you are. You talk about using the Spock.
Yeah, the inverted Vulcan. So you can go to readaboutssex.com and just type in Vulcan, and you can learn more about that. You can also type in inverted Vulcan here on YouTube, and you'll learn more about that as well. But techniques and ways of playing with you and your partner so that your body's fully aroused and wants penetration. Generally speaking, vaginas can
let babies through.
Can take a lot. And work better when they're highly aroused and well lubricated. Use lube. And having hung out with people who have humongous penises, or friends who play with dildos that just happen to be really, really long, we jokingly refer to bottoming out, where you can kind of hit the end of the road, and then trying to go beyond that seems to be uncomfortable. Other things that can be useful, and again, your mileage may vary, trying different sexual positions, especially if your partner has a really long member, because certain positions allow for deeper penetration than others. And so you can find one that works really well and is fun for both of you. And that's also kind of flip advice for folks who have smaller penises, or when you're using like a smaller toy, you can use different positions to get deeper penetration. So that kind of advice and that knowing these things about our bodies works in both directions around creating sex that feels good for you.
Yeah. Do you have any positions that you recommend if someone wants shallower penetration?
Shallower penetration, generally speaking, like spooning, like penetrative sex while spooning.
Yeah.
Any situation where, for the most part, your butt cheeks hit the penis owner or the strap-on wearer's abdomen and thigh. That can be really useful. Situations where you have your legs in the air or your knees bent and you're on your back usually allow for deeper penetration. And doggy style can kind of go both ways, because you can grab people's butts and kind of squeeze them to the side.
Yeah.
But situations where you're like lying on your sides and spooning, that's the one that comes to mind. That's a really good one for more shallow penetration.
Yeah. And in terms of a turn on, sometimes we think, like I used to, when I had sex before I was educated about it, I would...
Because now you don't have sex anymore? Now that you're educated, you stop?
Thank you. No. I would try to be turned on enough that I could allow penetration versus my body going, please do it now. So just tuning into yourself. It doesn't mean your partner's doing anything wrong. It may be that there needs to be more communication. And different people get turned on at different speeds and different times of the day in their life. And
the thing that turns you on one week the next day or the next week might not be working.
Yeah.
Another position that popped up, if the receiver is on their belly, and you have your legs together, and the penis owner, the strap-on wearer, is lying on top of you, if that's comfortable for your bodies, with your legs together, and once you get in, that seems to be a really good position because now you have the butt and the hamstrings of the person lying down, and that will allow for shallower penetration.
If you're a bigger person, make sure you lube up the top of the thighs a little bit.
Lube. Use lube, folks. Use lots of lube.
It's a great position, but it does, if you're bigger and your thighs pressed together, a little bit of lube goes a long way there.
Yeah. And then also, it's okay to, like, in the middle of things, be like, hey, can we take a time out? Like, I need more lube, or I need to adjust positions. It's okay to interrupt things.
Yeah, you can even specify, let's try this position for 3 strokes, and we're going to stop and figure out, because sometimes we get turned on and something is hurting and we're not speaking up, or we're hoping that sex would just be over so we can be done. Speaking up during and changing positions, it allows us to feel free and to really enjoy the process.
Yeah. How was the video? Ideas, comments. We could go on forever, but we won't.
Thanks for tuning in, Sex Geek. If you would like to continue with the brain sex, do me a favor and click subscribe right here. If you'd like to watch me on social media, that's where you're going to go. Next video, maybe? And if you really would like your own Sex Geek t-shirt, please click right here, right now. Boop. No, really, like...